Welcome back to Chinagrams Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. And today, that's right, the ships have landed. Ships are here, and I gotta say, I've been playing quite a bit and having a lot of fun. For those of you who have been following the channel, I've taken quite a break from the game, but ships has kind of lured me back and reminded me what I like so much about the game. Alright, so let's talk about what ships is different and what it brings to the game. Essentially, put short, what it does is brings another level to the game. Instead of just working on characters, now we have ships as well. What's kind of interesting about ships is that, much like characters, you have to get blueprints for them, like shards, and then you have to level them up. As you get more blueprints, you get more levels, more ranks, and then you level them up like you would a character. What's really interesting is that when you level up a ship, instead of using your normal money, you have special ship money. So this is both limiting and freeing at the same time. Like it gives you less flexibility in how you're going to use your money, but now there's like two separate sources of income. You don't have to decide, ooh, am I spending my money on my characters or am I spending it on my ships? You're going to be doing both. Much like characters, each ship has different abilities that you can upgrade with different upgrade pieces. And again, these are different from characters, probably because a lot of people out there have so many stockpiled, they would just be like, all right, all my ships are max. And that makes a lot of sense. One of the really weird things about ships is that most of the blueprints can't actually be found. The Jedi Counselor Starfighter is an exception. I'll go ahead and sim this one for us so we can see it's just like characters. You sim it, and then you get some blueprints. Cool. Huzzah. However, if you go to another ship, say the Geonosian Soldier ship, you're going to see that... oh, that's another bad example. That one, that one you can get in 9D. There's only 3 you can farm like this. There's the Counselor ship, the Soldier ship, and then there's also Plo Koon's ship. There is a problem, however. Like, look, I have Plo Koon's ship ready to roll, but I don't have Plo Koon, so even activating it isn't going to do me much. And in fact, I cannot activate it because I don't have the driver for the ship. So even though Anakin Skywalker is like the best pilot in the galaxy, Plo Koon is going, dude, don't get in my ship, man. Don't get in my ship. No one gets in my ship except for Plo Koon. So it's kind of an interesting limiting factor that you both have to farm the ship and the character that goes with it, or you can't open the ship. Another interesting interaction between this is that when you look at a ship's total power, it's factoring in all the normal stuff you would expect. The ship's level, how many stars the ship is, what its abilities are at, but it's also factoring in the power of the crew. So this crew member is bringing in 4826 power, that is the Geonosian Soldier, because he's pretty teched out. But if you look at like a terrible guy, I have the Resistance Fighter, or whatever his name is, Resistance Pilot. He's only bringing in 942 crew power, so this ship is substantially weaker. So it's really interesting in that, like, let's say you already had maxed out the character lineup you wanted, and you were kind of bored with that. When ships hits, there's a whole nother level of grinding. Right now you're grinding your ships, and you have to go back and grind your characters as well, which is very interesting. So I've been finding myself quite fortunate that I already had the Counselor pretty much set. If you've been following my videos from the beginning and you farmed him and you were thinking like, Tiny, why didn't you update that video? I don't want him. You're welcome. You're welcome. He's actually useful now. Biggs I'd been farming as well, so that's cool. One other note about acquiring ships. I was saying before that you can't get them normally just from blueprints. The way you can get most of these ships is a little bit more luck-based, so like fleet shipments. If they're in fleet shipments, then you can go ahead and farm them that way. And it becomes very difficult because you only have so many tokens, so you basically have to choose 1 or 2 ships. I really want to go for Slave 1, and I started going for it, so I'm committed. I have a pretty decent Boba Fett. I'm going for it. We're going to get Slave 1, so stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, I should have that. Oh, I hope I didn't have Vader. It is important to note that you could have Vader in here, and I didn't realize that. And I could have bought him the other day, and then I couldn't. All right, but also important, you can get these from Galactic Wars. Now, for most of you, you probably have a billion Galactic War tokens. I haven't played in a couple months, so I don't have Galactic War tokens. So I'm in a really tough spot that every time it spawns, I'm like, oh, I can actually buy this one. Should I? Yeah, I'm going to buy that one. But now I have to go farm 400 more tokens so I can buy another one. But so, basically, I guess my point is, even though you can't farm most of them through blueprints, most of the ships are acquired through one of those two channels. I think the exception is the Falcon. From what I've heard, you can't actually get the Falcon through anything but packs right now. That's not that surprising. It's kind of the Capital Games way, right, is to say, like, there's this one thing that if you want it, you're going to have to pay us money. And it's a smart business model. For me, it's never been a problem if it's not the best thing, right? If it's something cool and I want it, I'm not paying money because I'm a free-to-play player, but, if someone else wants it, they're going to have to do that. Okay, so that is how you get ships. Much like characters, there's very similar things. There's ship challenges every day. There's a challenge you can do to get money or to get enhancements, to level up, or to get ability tokens. All of these things are there. An issue, not really an issue, but a problem for me is that I don't have many ships, so I can only do tier 1. It encourages you to grow wide, which I think is important, that you have to have 5 ships or 7 ships if you want to get more options to get more stuff. It's a good move from the beginning of the characters where you're just kind of encouraged to get 5 good characters. They learn from that, and now you're really encouraged to unlock lots of different ships and do more of the collect them all strategy, which I think most people have fun with. There are also battles that are very, very, very similar to character battles, where you essentially battle. It's a PvP battle without actually battling another person, which can be, a little bit unsatisfying, as when you're doing PvP, it's nice to battle a person. I think we'll go ahead and do a battle real quick so you can see it. This one looks like one I might be able to win. There's 2 really weak ships in there. And it's only the Geonosian soldier ship that looks really, really strong, just so you can kind of see what a battle looks like. And when you go in, you're picking your 5 ships, and then you have like this extra ship if you have home 1, because he has an ability that lets you put a ship into play. And so what's a little bit different about ship battles than character battles is you have this leadership instead of just a leader guy that doesn't just have one ability that's static throughout, but you actually get to control that as the battle goes on. And so I know this ship is pretty weak, so I think I can leave that alone for now. I think we'll focus on this ship that was super strong, and we'll put target lock on it. This ship that I've got here is very interesting because it hits hard, but it also leaves you pretty vulnerable to an issue where it gives turn meter to your opponent. And so you're like, I don't know. I didn't read about that ship. I was just like, oh, I have 5s, and he's pretty much set, and this ship would be a great ship for me. And then I unlocked it, and I was like, maybe not so much. Maybe that was not the best ship to be getting there. So I'm not really sure whether or not I should have gotten that, but I did. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the battle here. This is how it works, and we'll continue from there. So skipping ahead in the battle, we can see that we're winning by a wide margin. Wow, but our opponent just sent a whole bunch of TIE fighters out and gave us a whooping. And that's one of the abilities of Tarkin's ship. But we were able to win, hold off, and so like Character Arena, it moves us up in rank. We're now 501. And if you look at the prize structure, 500 is actually the cutoff to get slightly more resources. And ship money right now is so critical because you have such a limited amount that it really is an incentive to try to move up quickly. And I'll try to press really hard to make sure I'm in this top 500 in the next 5 hours to be able to get more stuff. Where is that? Yeah, so redeem is just what I showed you already. All right, so that's how the matches work. Again, very similar to characters. So let's move then to what are the good and the bad of ships. The good is what we have here is another fun layer. And ships. Like, I've been wanting ships. It's going to be a lot of fun to be able to chase after, Han Solo. Or, sorry, my bad. To chase after the Falcon. I got to say, not having it be Han Solo's Falcon. Mind blown. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe a classic Falcon will be a later ship. I really want the TIE Advance, Vader's ship. That'll be fun. I love saying, I have you now. And to be able to say that as I'm blowing someone up with him would be great. As you can see, I'm already chasing Slave 1. It's a fun ship. It's really fun having something else to chase after. Another thing that's really good and fun is that I realized the more I got into Galaxy of Heroes is that I didn't have as much fun in the end game, right? As I was chasing for PvP number 1 at exactly the right time every day, and once our guild could crush the tier 7 heroic raid, the Rancor raid in like 4 seconds, that became way less fun because then everyone's bickering about who can kill them and who can do more damage. And I realized that the end game of Galaxy of Heroes for me personally is just not that fun. What was really fun was when I started the game and I was grinding and making progress and having a lot of fun doing that, not worrying about the end game so much as just playing. Because in a strategy light game like this, it's really hard to have a robust end game. And I think I'm going to make a video about that in the future, about the end game and how that operates. But being sort of set back to the beginning has been really fun for me. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I basically don't pay attention to characters that much anymore unless they're crew members. I'm still simulating all my arena battles. I just don't care. But ships has me intrigued because it's another starting over point. I'm having a lot of fun with that. And so I think that has been what's really drawn me back in, is that ability to be back at the beginning, but not having to make a new account or something. It's just like, oh, cool. There's this whole nother set of progress and stuff that I can do. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. So what's the bad then of ships? The bad to me is that with this release that they spent months prepping, right? It's become very clear what Capital Games is and what Galaxy of Heroes is. And that is a strategy light Star Wars game. So for someone out there who is hoping and thinking like this is going to be totally different, like ships is going to blow stuff up, and then to get something that's basically a reskin of characters only with ships, I think for a lot of people this could be the getting off point, right? Of like, okay, now we know what this game is. Up until now, we've been sort of led to believe that maybe it's going to be totally different. Ships is going to be cool and interesting and different, and it's not. It's not that it's not fun, but it's not different. It's the exact same thing. And so for a lot of people, they see that and they go, oh, okay, so that's what this game is? Okay, I'm going to move on then, and that's fine. But I think for others, it'll be the reverse, right? It'll be, this is exactly what I love about Galaxy of Heroes. It's more of the same. This is what's made Galaxy of Heroes $1 bajillion and 10 million downloads. So not straying too far from the formula is not shocking and probably a smart move by them. But it looks like what we're not going to see is real PvP against another human. We're not going to see a strategy heavy game. It's going to continue to be the sort of strategy light game that's mostly farming and some strategy. And so that can be a real negative for some people moving forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how people react to ships. I think for a lot of people, they were disappointed by the AAT raid, the Grievous raid. That's kind of a reskin of the Rancor raid. Like, it's basically the same thing. And now this is basically the same thing. And so we'll have to see what the reaction is, over a couple weeks' time as people start to really realize, oh, I'm back fully in grinding mode again. Like, I was kind of in the end game and struggling, and now I'm starting over. And for some, that'll be incredibly frustrating. But for people like me, it's like, oh, cool, let's do this again. This is why I fell in love with this game. And I'm kind of happy to be back in this spot. Another negative, and this is a small negative, is what's the deal with some of these ships? Like, why does Mace Windu have a giant capitalist ship? I don't understand that one. Like, when I think of Mace Windu in the Clone Wars, I don't think of him as an admiral of a pilot ship. And I think it's more that they didn't really have anyone that fit that role very well. I've watched all the Clone Wars, and there's not somebody that really fits. And so we have sort of these like weird ships and ship matchups. But again, that's a pretty small negative, as there's a lot of really cool ones like Slave One, and Vader. The weird one for me, of course, is Falcon. That is not Rey's ship. Like, I know she was in it in a movie, but there's this dude, Han Solo. He's pretty cool, and he has this co-pilot who's really furry, Chewbacca, and that's their ship. So don't take away their ship. But really interested to see what you guys think. Are you loving ships? Are you hating ships? Are you somewhere in the middle? Have you thrown your hands up and said, "That's it, that's it, I'm walking away. This is the end. This is the moment where they lost me"? Or is this the moment where you are fully re-embraced, re-engaged? Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time on Tiny Grimes Games.